your position as a citizen, how do you say it again?
Citizen sector.
Citizen sector.
Humanitarian.
Yes.
Oh, God. Jeez.
So when you're saying that, like, you're describing a humanitarian innovator, right? What does innovation means in this process? I know I changed completely the
Yeah.
subject, but it's just because I want to bring this as well.
So in this process of what we're talking about right now, in the context of engaging the engineers,
Yes.
what's the innovation? Oh my God! If how many people have you had on this hot seat that weren't prepared and they got burned?
Well, more than 100.
Yeah, okay. 'Cause I feel like I'm escaping at the moment. All right, cool. So
I like the sorry, I should tell you, but I like that way. That is just natural, you know. And I'm terrible with this part. Here, guys, I have questions here, and normally I never have questions at all because it's just like, let's talk.
oh man, all right. So the innovative aspects of this is bringing a whole new approach to the host and migrants kind of a collaboration. We have a lot of capable engineers in Ireland from
Definitely,
many
yes.
countries: Ukraine,
India, Brazil, yes.
Everyone,
Yes.
very highly educated. A lot of time they need to respecialize or requalify. A lot of times, which takes time and bonds people out, etc. So the innovation here is not just being able to contribute to the host community in terms of accelerating the process it takes to say, can this house be used for anything or anyone or not? Yes or no? That takes a bit of time at the moment. So the innovation is using the capacity that's here to make that happen faster.
Okay.
But as well as, the technical part of doing the job, the innovation is what that means, which we've addressed in terms of what does that mean in terms of connection with the community? What does that mean in terms of the narrative of what a migrant is? What does that mean in the context of the person volunteering and how that shapes their professional life and the professional kind of connections? What does that mean in terms of new doors opening for that person from just doing that? So the innovation here is finding the opportunity in a problem, which is we want to accelerate housing and how housing is viewed and how housing can be adapted within communities. Through that process, what else can be done in terms of for the citizens and for the migrants? And I think the innovation here is a duty, and then the way the duty is being carried out and what they get in return and what the community gets in return. And if this works here, I'm not sure what the scenario is in other countries that might have similar migration problems or similar housing problems. If something like this works here, it can be practiced and scaled through your engineers that work in other countries that might have the same challenges.
Yes.
So yeah, I that's the innovation. A big
It's
problem.
an idea to save time and help others, not only the ones who are looking for the house, but to help in general. Like,
It's incredible when
Yes.
you map out the indirect impacts of that. Sometimes you have people who have accommodation. One of the biggest steps is that housing, that engineering assessment. Sometimes people can't even afford that.
I know.
Because
I
you're
know.
thinking of, because you're thinking of all the other steps, and then you end up never really doing those steps.
Yes.
Because you can't really afford to do the first step. Now, I'm not saying that's the way it is, but it's just easier when you can say, right, we'll get an engineer to check this out and see what needs to be done. And then it's up to the owner of the accommodation, it's up to the owner of the asset to decide who and what they want to use it for. I'd like to make that very, very clear in the context of the innovation here and what this means. No one's tied to anything during our assessments or after our assessments. Once all of that's done, we share the report, and then they decide what they want to do with the house and how.
Okay.
Which is, again, that needs to be clear in the context of the neutrality.
Yes.
Now, speaking from a humanitarian innovator perspective, the advantage of the Red Cross, a kind of mission of having neutrality in its mission, that's where that neutrality comes in. Not making decisions based on anything or whatever. It's there, you decide. So yeah, the neutrality is also part of the innovation in the context of no one's tied to anything.
Nobody is saying yes or no. We are just bringing the perspective, technical perspective.
Indeed. And then the decision's up to you, basically.
Get you.
Which is it's pretty it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is, and actually it's great because if you think, let's say, for us, I'm gonna talk about the Brazilian community here. There is a lot of difference on the construction here in Ireland from what we are used to in Brazil, but doesn't mean that our knowledge is not capable to figure out if the structure is okay or if it's
Yeah.
damaged or if is there any impact that need to be revised or whatever. But I believe that brings us a little bit of, let's say, make us afraid of to say that's good, that's not. You can use, you cannot. But it's easier just to say, okay, I believe that it needs to be repaired because of this. I'm looking at this structure here or this condition, and I think needs to be done, whatever. Or no, this is okay, you can use as it is, blah, blah, blah. You're giving your perspective, but you're not giving the final word.
Indeed.
That's good because I believe for us, if anyone wants to try, wants to help, wants to be a volunteer, and it is afraid to say, oh, but I'm going to sign off. I'm going to say, yeah, go ahead. And then in 5 years, the building happens something. I don't
Very
want to
good.
be, yeah.
I don't
So,
want to be responsible.
yes. So it's good for us because it's a way to connect with the environmental. The environmental? Yeah, environment.
Yeah, the environment. Yeah.
Of the building and construction and structure and everything. So even if you are not really working as engineer yet, but you want to get connected on those sites.
Experience. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And because you said Engineers Island is involved, I'll say that again. I'm sure those people who are volunteering to do the assessment, they will be open to check your assessment. So they don't need to go there, but you can send to them the
Amazing.
report and
Yep.
say, do you mind just to double check if I missed something? Or
Amazing.
can you teach me something from that?
Yep.
I put those notes. Do you think it's something else that I should add? Or do you think I'm being...
You got it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yep.
what if I'm understanding right, what you are needing are people. Because it's a lot of places to check and it takes time. So we need to go there, as you said. You have the time to arrive on the place.
Logistics, yep,
And
yep,
it
yep.
takes a few hours
Yep.
to inspect everything. We don't know the conditions, so
Indeed,
you can
indeed.
get there and then you need to find some way to access the attic or whatever, and that takes time.
Yep.
But I'm talking about my own experience. Sometimes I go to sites to do inspections for the company I work for, and I share my report with my director because it's like, I'm not sure. Do you
Interesting.
mind to double check and see if I missed something or if I'm being too picky?
I can understand. Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
because it's part of the process of learning.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yep. Really. Yeah. That's
And if I'm getting right, what you need is people on sites going there and doing this first inspection.
Yep.
Like taking photos, notes as much as you can and
Indeed.
checking everything. And don't be afraid to write as much as you can.
110%.
Because at the end, you're going to send that to someone who will double check and will say, okay, the way you're showing me, and I believe that as many photos you can have for any inspection, it's better. That's the way I work. And like if I
engineer speaking.
if I open my cell phone for you now, you're going to see just from the last week, like I have 100 of photos per
Red,
house,
red,
you know.
red,
yeah,
red.
because it's part of the process. And
Yeah.
I prefer to take as many photos as possible and check again.
And again, I understand.
Because if you miss something, that's the problem.
Yeah, right?
But if you have a lot of photos, you can just double check and say, oh, okay, here. Yeah, that's fine. We're covered, blah, blah, blah. Great. But if you miss something, you need to go back.
Yep. And like, you know
And
what
that's
that
going to
means.
take a lot of hours again, you know? So it's and
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
because it's a volunteer job, so sometimes you don't have the access every time. So it's a process to organize the date, to organize the site
man.
visit, to have access, key,
Incredible.
I don't know.
Yep,
Yes.
totally. You've got all of the steps. You know, what can go wrong? What makes it really, difficult and can get very messy if something's missed and then you have to rearrange. worse.
Yes.
It's just awful.
Yes.
So yeah, you got this. I think you know exactly what needs to happen, and you talked about the impacts for the person, and 100%.
Yes.
That whole body system and learning from each other.
And
It's priceless.
We need to bring the reality here as well. Once you are involved in any volunteer job in Ireland, I'll say in Ireland because in Brazil wasn't that way. So in Ireland, they love it. They really appreciate that you're taking your time off
Yeah.
to help others.
Yep.
So even if you're not working but if you put that in your CV, I'm gonna bring this conversation to that point because I think that's important for people to think out of the box.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes they are like, but it's just my day off and I want to chill, I want to go to the park or whatever. But if you're looking for a job and you're not on the engineering market yet,
Yeah.
and you start to helping, and you put that in your CV that you are doing that, you're doing
Yep.
site inspections, you're raising reports, you're sharing your knowledge to help. That will bring the attention for the companies who are looking for someone to do the same job or to do something on site constructions.
Indeed. Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's a win-win.
It is.
I can
and
see.
that's the innovation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going back to what's the innovation?
Yes, because it is a win-win.
that's-
So I can't see how that could be wrong.
Yeah, it's a really it's a great opportunity. There's nothing. Nothing beats the right time and the right place.
Yes.
It's the right time for engineers and young engineers and just for the community to really make some impacts in this kind of crisis that we're in.
Yes.
And what's also special about this innovation is, the organization, I like to speak as a citizen and a humanitarian, so I don't like aligning or mentioning organizations constantly. The Red Cross is built on neutrality as well. What's happening here is really, it's showing how things can be done to bring everybody along. So, not just sitting around saying, oh yeah, we're going to wait for the house to come. Oh yeah, we're going to wait for houses that are ready. The problem,
Yes.
that is the problem, So we're not, sitting around doing that, and I'm not leading anything that's going to sit around doing that. We go hunting, no matter how bad it is. Let us know about it, and let's see how we can work together to make it happen and bring it back to life.
Yes.
So we're not dipping into the national stock, into the private sector stock, into the social public housing stock, into allocated stocks. Let's bring new stock on stream and use it for everyone.
Yes.
And it's a very powerful narrative.